It is official. After a Game 2 loss to the Tampa Bay Rays in Tropicana in a very pivotal 4-game set for the Seattle Mariners, they are officially skipping Bryan Woo's start. Jude tweeted this out, Adam Jude, writer for the Seattle Times. They're skipping his start in the rotation tomorrow with a bullpen day with Luke Weaver as the bulk guy. Now, I'm showing off Jude's tweet there because there's another one that I'm going to get to in a second, but it is what it is. It's the end of the season. Woo, he probably was not expected to pitch this much this year. And with Hancock's injury, obviously Robbie Ray and Marco's injury, our pitching depth is a bit thinner than we would have liked it. I'm not sure if the answer here is going to continue to be Luke Weaver, if this is the only start that gets skipped. If it's not, and this one doesn't go very well, I would not be surprised to see a maybe Darren McCacken in a later game, maybe an Adam Aller or a Tommy Malone, should we get to that point. But with a bullpen day in Game 3, and then we're riding on Bryce Miller in Game 4, you really would have liked to take Game 2 from Tampa Bay with George Kirby on the mound. And George, aside from the first inning and the final batter that he faced, pitched very well in a bounce-back start, I would call it, after his pretty rough one in New York. The first inning, George couldn't locate. The catwalk caused a lazy fly ball to not be caught, and another sac fly allows 2 runs to cross. And then George shut down the Rays lineup for the rest of the game, and everything seemed pretty peachy keen because the Mariners offense was clicking. Home runs from Cal, Gino, and J-Rod right on time. But without missing a beat, the Mariners kept throwing George when maybe he didn't necessarily need to go back out there. And I'm not saying I agree with what I'm about to show you next.
I didn't execute. He had a good pitch. I wish I wasn't out there for the 7th, to be honest. So I was at 90 pitches, and I didn't think I needed to go anymore, but it is what it is. So.
Is that a conversation in the dugout, or is it?
It'll be a conversation soon.
If I'm Scott and I know where my guy is at after coming off a bad start, and he's at 93 pitches, maybe I have my bullpen already ready to go. And so in his post-game article for the Times, Adam tweeted this, quoting his article, saying, "Very candid comments from George Kirby after this one. He's obviously frustrated and said he wished he hadn't been sent back out to pitch the 7th inning at 93 pitches. You go to the comments and it's like, this isn't in the article. Jude has since updated this and saying, George Kirby in the midst of his most frustrating start of his career. This is 45 seconds ago, by the way. I wish I wasn't out there for the 7th, to be honest. I was at 90 pitches. I don't think I needed to go anymore." Those are interesting comments. I'm not going to lie. It's nice that he's being honest, right? I think that will go a long way. Maybe have that conversation in the dugout, and maybe they did, and Scott was like, no, I want you to go back out there. And he did get a very quick first pitch out in that inning, and then a batter got on, and at that point, I think that's when you take him out. However, Scott let him to continue there and subsequently gives up a 2-run home run, allowing the game to be tied at that point. That is a tough look for George Kirby, Scott Service, and I know they'll work past it. It's a great clubhouse in Seattle, without a doubt in my mind. But the comments from Jude, without updating the article first, I know you kind of want to be the first to put stuff out there. It seems a little funky to me. I'm not going to lie. I don't love the way that was approached on social media. And I know I'm also propagating this by sharing it. But if I'm George Kirby, be honest with your manager to say like, oh, I think I'm done. And then, go from there. It sucks that he gave up the 2-run home run. If he doesn't give up the 2-run home run, does he make this comment? Absolutely not. It is just a caveat of the game, something where it goes in your favor, everything's fine. It goes against you, and there's likely some backlash, some comments being made. And it's what's going to happen, especially with media also being prevalent within Major League Baseball so prominently. It is just part of the game with reporters and everything like that. It's not a bad game from George, and it's a pretty frustrating part. I agree. He's young. He will work through this because he is a phenomenal pitcher. And overall, the Mariners, they'll be fine, right? We're still in the playoff hunt. We've got a good positioning within the playoffs. We've got a 1.5 game lead on the 3rd wildcard spot. The Rangers are 2 games back of us as well, so we've got a bit of a buffer there. And we've got some easier opponents ahead, I guess, with the Angels and the Athletics, but we know how hard September will be and what the playoffs may be looking like. I hope that this situation gets sorted out very quickly. It's probably a nothing situation, but with Woo's start getting skipped and the bullpen being a little bit more taxed, I guess, than we would like on a long road trip, having a bullpen day in Game 3 and then leaving Bryce Miller maybe hung out to dry in Game 4, depending on if roster moves are made or how that's looking, it's kind of a suspect road trip at the end of the day, depending on the outcomes. But we're still in the playoff hunt, and that's what matters. And we've got a video on the screen right now breaking down how the Mariners' playoff scenarios are kind of shaping up and what the worst case scenario may be and what the best case scenarios could be. So hopefully you guys go check out that one if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching this one. Let's hope Luke Weaver and the bullpen get it done in Game 3, and go Mariners.